It's an extraordinarily successful visit. We should not underestimate the fact that he was invited to address the US Congress for the second time. So it shows how important India is in the mindset of the US Congress when it comes to defense cooperation. I think it's an extraordinarily successful visit. In my opinion, it has exceeded expectations. The main feature which I see from the visit is the boldness and the ambition on the kind of decisions that have been taken. And both in terms of optics, in terms of the physical, personal chemistry between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and President Joe Biden. His address to the Congress, he's the only Indian Prime Minister to have addressed Congress 2 times. The fact that he was on a state visit, the fact that he was received so enthusiastically by the diaspora, that he met a whole cross-section of very, very influential and successful Americans in all walks of life, whether it was technology or culture or health or any other field, and his meeting with the business community. So I think if you look at the optics of it and the way the visit was structured, I think it is extremely successful. And we should not underestimate the fact that he was invited to address the US Congress for the second time. I mean, this is a very rare honor. And if you watched his speech to the Congress, basically what Prime Minister Modi did was to eloquently talk about the massive progress and transformation of India, the common values of democracy that unite India and the United States, and number 3, why India and the US can and should work together in the global situation and why this is good for the world. And I think on all these 3 counts, he conveyed a very, very strong message. On the substance, apart from the optics, on the substance also the visit was very, very forward-looking and highly ambitious. In my opinion, what is really striking is that the primary focus has been given only to one item, which is technology. And you know, there are, in history, when you look, there are junctures and phases where you pick one idea and that becomes a transformational idea in any relationship, whether it is United States or anyone else. And that idea then dominates the whole visit and the whole relationship. So in 2008, for example, it was the nuclear deal. That defined your Indo-US relationship. Today, from 2008 till now, 15 years, technology is the new defining characteristic and signature of this visit. And here they are talking about a whole array of technologies. It is not only 1 or 2 technologies, but the full range. And they actually have outlined specific areas of cooperation. They have identified the institutions in India, in the United States, etc., etc. And the second part, which I again think is quite unique for this relationship, is the focus on defense cooperation. And here they talk not only about, for example, the GE engines or the UAVs and other exchanges, but there is a repeated mention of co-production and of working together as partners. So again, highlighting the defense aspect of the relationship is very unique. And I noticed, for example, that when Prime Minister said in his speech to the Congress that the biggest achievement has been in the Indo-US, in the defense field, he actually got a standing ovation. So everyone stood up and they gave him a huge applause. So it shows how important India is in the mindset of the US Congress when it comes to defense cooperation. Now, there could be many reasons for this, and we know some of them, China and so on. But the fact is, this is very important. And of course, apart from that, I think on the substance, they've also talked about, they've reviewed the whole geopolitical situation. There is a very interestingly, in the very first para of the joint statement, there is a reference to the Quad and the Indo-Pacific. And so, from the geopolitical perspective also, there is very interesting formulations. And then you have the other issues. You have the trade, commerce, people to people, visas, health. So everything is there. So even from that perspective, it is a very substantive visit.